Changes to the agenda?
Which did you want to add?
Well, I'm gonna move that we go into executive session at the end of this meeting. And I've got one other item under old and new business, which is to extend this MTAP grant. Purely, we just need to extend it to April 15th, 2025. Purely pro forma. So Matt.
All right, so number 3 is we got to review the January 14th minutes, and there's some others in here that need to be
Just signed because we've already approved them, but yeah. So I'm going to move approval of the January 14th.
I must have.
Where is it here?
They're random dates too.
Oh, here, you want a copy here?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to move approval.
I'll
I
second.
didn't get that one.
Oh, this is approval of the January 14th.
Right.
Right, okay.
all those in favor?
Aye. And then I'm gonna move re-signing both November 26th and September 24th, 2024. Hi, Kim.
No.
I'm sorry, now I gotta find that one.
I only go to Denny's. Sorry.
Oh, you must make re-sign these
Yeah, both of them.
for a second.
What ones were they, Denny? Can you just tell me what they were?
December 3rd and 26th of November.
Got it.
There should be one more in there, I think. September.
September 24th and November 26th are the ones I have.
I got the 24th here.
Yeah.
So all those in favor of re-signing all 3?
Aye.
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 Can I virtually sign?
Does Zoom do that?
I bet it does.
How are you gonna have a ton of
Yeah, we can
paperwork
do
when
a
you get back?
DocuSign
That'd be
thing.
fine. Yep.
We'll keep you so busy you can't go to your new job. All right, number 4 is supposed to be the preservation grant.
That is you, Leah. Hi.
Whoop, you got it on mute. Leah, you're
There she
muted.
is.
Or
Hold on,
Can't
hold
hear
on.
you.
Hold on, is our volume up or is this good?
Yeah, because we can hear how.
Write
Okay.
it on back paper, so you're.
Leah, can you hear us? Give us a thumbs up if you can hear us. Okay, we can't hear you.
Technology, you gotta love it.
I know.
Oh, we lost her. She's
Okay,
rebooting.
we're getting a real-time transcription.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Oh my God.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yay! Sorry about that. Must have been my external mic, but you guys got some fancy new technology there. So I can see everybody, which is a change from last time. I think Shauna had sent over earlier, or maybe at the end of last year, a note about potential budget items coming up. I don't know the timelines of what you're trying to incorporate that for, but wanted to share a couple of projects that are building related to have on the radar. Actually, I don't believe either of these are new in concept, but we've made a little bit of progress in maybe getting a direction on where we would want to go. So I will start with the window restoration, and forgive me, Shauna, I don't know if you were able to include some of the information in the packet,
Yes.
but I'm happy to. Okay, awesome. One thing to be aware of, and Jim, I think we had talked about this a year or so ago when we met in person at the school. But we had wanted to look at the potential for some window restoration. I think if folks haven't been in the annex building recently, we do have those, you know, somewhat original wood windows. They're beautiful, they're historic. They don't all operate, which is in some cases okay. But from a safety perspective, you know, there's lead paint in them, not all of them operate, and want to have those in good working order on behalf of the beautiful historic building. So we had actually come across a state grant specific to historic buildings that we applied to. I think you have the information in your packet there on where that comes from. They are pretty competitive, so we weren't sure if we would actually get approval for it, but we were able to find a contractor to give us a quote for the front green facing windows, which, you know, from a restoration standpoint, we thought would be the highest priority given they face the town green. You know, windows that are in the back of the building are maybe less aesthetically needed and maybe a lower priority. So we had really prioritized those front windows that all of the town and visitors can see to do a first round of restoration. So that was the proposal that the restoration specialist had prepared for us. We actually did just find out a couple of weeks ago that we were awarded the grant, should we choose to accept it. And how it works is essentially, you know, you see the cost of the full proposal there. They are willing to do a 50-50 match of that, where, you know, the organization or building owner would pay for half of it, and then the grant funds the other half. So that's the sort of amount of the grant is the 12,000 and change out of that overall almost 25,000. And I don't know if folks have been through the process of restoring wood windows before. I unfortunately have, but essentially they take them out, they do sort of like a full rebuild, cleanup, get all of the lead paint out, make sure that they operate historical quality fixtures and whatnot. You can sort of see the scope of work as he's laid it out there. We actually think we would be able to keep. Sure, go ahead.
Does anybody, I've got the floor quote, but I don't have any window quote.
It's in there. You just have to click on the tab in the Zoom file.
Oh, boy.
There's like a pull down at the top. At least on mine it was. That's how it was.
Okay, I got it now.
Got it.
I'm sorry, Leah.
Yeah, no worries. So anyway, the scope of work is outlined there. He did think that we would be able to keep the protective storm windows, just clean them up a little bit so they look a little bit nicer once we have the nice windows back in behind them. But that would bring all of the front windows, the sort of big, you know, top to bottom, you know the ones that I'm talking about. They're sort of like full length 2-floor windows, as well as the 2 windows on the side of the entry would be included there. That's not to say that there's other windows in the building that don't work or operate, but we felt the highest priority to start with would be the front there. And certainly we don't own the building. It's not exactly our decision to make. We have the benefit of some potential funding if we want to accept the grant that we were awarded. So wanted to provide that information to you all. Continue conversations if you'd like to sort of research, look into it, debrief and go from there. You'll sort of see in the handbook there that they provided, there are some dates that they have to, not formally accept the grant, but documentation to start having in place should we want to move in that direction. I think it's maybe more towards the end of June that we would actually have to sign that acknowledgement. And then they would require that the work be completed by the end of next year, so December 2026. So luckily we have a restoration gentleman sort of lined up should we choose to accept and move forward with the work. But we, of course, are not at that stage, nor is it the little school's decision really to make. So wanted to provide you all with the information tonight.
Leah, this says February 7th, deadline to return the grant acknowledgement, February 7th.
So in more detail, that's just sort of the first phase or the first document of it. And it's essentially, we would just have to provide proof of insurance of the building. We don't actually have to formally accept the grant until like May, June.
Okay.
Is our insurance going to, I'm guessing we've got, it's covered. The policy, our insurance policy, it says here, should be $1 million per occurrence limit, $1 million of general aggregate, $1 million of products completed operations aggregate, which I don't think, are there products and completed operations there? And then 50,000 of fire and legal liability.
I think that's pretty standard liability.
I'd say, like, this
And I
is
think-
specific to municipal buildings. I would guess that's within our insurance, but we'll let you all, and I'm happy to look that up as well. I don't know where that information is, but
So then to return the scope of work, which we've got here. So that, returning contractor bids, May 2025. Contractor insurance, also May 23.
yeah, there are a handful of contractors that do this type of work. We obviously had to have one come on site to actually give the proposal itself, and seemed very reasonable compared to what I've seen before. So I don't know. I think having that in hand, I think the process would be pretty easy if we do want to move forward. We don't have to really necessarily solicit additional contractors or nail that down. They're available to do the work should we want them to.
Yeah. And am I right? The deadline to request reimbursement is not this coming December, but a year from there, 2026.
2026, it needs to be completed.
Yeah. So there's plenty of time. Okay.
So the windows come out, Leah? The windows come
They
out?
do fully remove them and take them off site. I mean, essentially they have to like dip them to get the cut out and all of that. So typically what he would do, or what can be done, is either put plexi in. If school is going to be in session, right, it kind of depends on, the timing of when it happens. Sometimes they'll do plywood over, temporarily, but oftentimes they'll put in a piece of plexi so you can still, get some light in and out. And we would still have the storm windows in place.
And this is strictly the front, so we've still got a second egress out of each one of the classrooms,
Well, none of the front windows open anyway. So that's part of it. But yes, there are egresses out of every room outside of the front.
not that anybody would choose to jump out the window, but they had to. Got it.
I haven't looked closely at the quote, Leah, but I noticed that, missing hardware, and so they're basically going to refurbish these windows. So missing hardware, and weights.
Correct.
I'm sure there's going to be some of that. Do they have a guess as to what? I mean, is that going to be a couple of thousand, or could it go to 5,000? Or
he incorporated the majority, like we went through every single window in detail. In some cases there were, buttons that he's going to have to recreate or hardware that is missing, that he would replace. So he did try to account for as much of that as possible in the quote itself. It was just maybe more that unexpected, like once they come out, is there something unexpected that's within that? Those parts generally aren't, rare. There's replicas or reproductions of all of them that are pretty easily available. I am happy to ask him if he thinks that if we need sort of like a range of where we think that might go, but he did try to account for as much of that as possible in the quote itself.
okay, that's good enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound, it's not going to be 20%. It might be 5% or even less probably. So,
Right.
Okay, great, thanks.
Okay.
Um,
Let's have her talk about flooring so that we can
Yeah.
talk about this. I didn't even get to read through any of this.
Okay, well, the flooring, let me and I think some of you maybe even know the backstory of the floors that predate me. I've heard some of it. I've heard some of the lore from you all in terms of going in and examining some of the issues there. The gist of it, just to remind folks, is that there are some significant humps due to shifting and expansion, contraction throughout the years. But there are some pretty significant humps within some of the classrooms. They've been marked for safety, like yellow tape of like, don't trip and fall and hurt yourself in these areas. So this has been something on our radar for quite a while, to try to figure out. I know some of you had tried to go down in the basement, see what was happening with some of the subflooring that was causing the buckling. And I know there wasn't really a definitive answer on what the right thing, or maybe not consensus on the best way to move that forward. So in the meantime, we've been struggling to get anybody out to give us a proposal or a quote to figure out what to do about the floors. What we did get was a quote for sort of the top of the line. Like if we wanted to fully replace and historically accurately put in wood flooring, that's gorgeous and sort of consistent with the historic nature of the building, that's what we got a proposal or a quote for, as a starting point. Now, there's other options that you could go from here, but we needed a starting point and sort of an idea of what that would look like. Certainly you could put in plastic pergo flooring. You could try to look at spot remove. I think, the consensus was from the professionals is like, oh, I don't think we're just going to be able to rip out a couple boards and flatten this out and call it a day. So what you see there is sort of the probably maximum amount of work of like fully overhauling and putting in beautiful historic looking floors. So that's what you see there. Not saying that that's the right answer, and it's certainly not the only answer, but wanted to give you all a starting point. And, you know, honestly, it's sort of needing a bit of feedback of like, what are we willing to take on, and how do we facilitate that conversation with the very few contractors who are available to do anything right now. And certainly we could phase it as well, like maybe do a classroom at a time or something like that, which might need to happen anyway, just given the flow of the school year. So
Was this the only person who got back to you, Leah?
yes. And I could tell you every single flooring person in Southern Vermont and maybe New Hampshire, but
I got it. I understand. I don't know this firm. It doesn't even say where they're from. So
yeah,
where
they're out
from?
of Londonderry, Manchester. Actually a parent of a student, which is, I think, the only reason why we got a response for a quote. So.
Okay. Okay. No money for this, Leah?
Oh, sorry. It's in this. There's a second attachment.
No,
I think it's called estimate or budget, the budget document. Sort of lays out.
That I saw.
Oh, okay. Well, those two go together. I know it doesn't. They should have tied the two together.
Totally fine. I guess I was saying grant money. No.
No grant money. Okay. I know. Unfortunately, they don't allow you better believe that I looked at the fine print of the grant. We unfortunately couldn't use it for interior work. It was only external presentation.
Grant is exterior. Okay. And that's 8 windows, Leah. Just go back to the window thing for one quick second.
Okay, so I think it's actually 10.
Okay, got it.
The 8 big double floor ones, and then two 2x2s.
Front of building only. I'm just curious if you know, you may not know, how many windows are there total?
Oh man.
A bunch down the side.
Well, in a lot of the ones on the side, like, you know, the back corner of the building, that's sort of a newer addition that they're like metal windows, you know, they're not historic. So those shouldn't need work, but there's definitely like 2 historic ones in sort of the back. There's like 2 or 3 historic ones on the second floor. And then, yeah.
No,
I don't know. Maybe there's like 10 or 12 more.
Okay. And on the flooring, just to jump back to the flooring, is this just level 1 flooring? Or is there also hardwood flooring?
Correct. It's not the attic. It's not
main floor.
Main
Okay.
floor. Yeah.
Okay. I need time to look at this. I'm sorry, I didn't.
We all do.
Oh yeah. No, that one, you know, is not time sensitive. I mean, I think the main thing for the grant related one is like, if you're okay with me submitting the certificate of insurance, it doesn't obligate us to accept the grant, but it at least allows us to continue forward in the process. Like, that would be great to know before February 7th.
Can you do that?
It's
Yeah, Shauna.
Simple.
Yeah, let's do that, Leah. Let's start with that phase of it.
Yeah.
We'll have Shauna get you the certificate of insurance, and then you can proceed with the grant. I hate to lose out and then not have the project make its way through. So
yeah. Okay. Yeah, we'll keep ourselves engaged.
Perfect.
And then I have a question, Shauna. You said, did I hear you say that you had funding stream for the to help with the payment for this out of Little School, or did I mishear that?
yes, there's a grant, not Shauna.
Not to my knowledge. There's a grant for what?
The windows.
Right.
Yeah,
he's
just for the windows, yeah, that's the only thing. And I know the grant covers half, the other half, did you say that you had some funding identified via the little school for that, or are you looking for the town to pick all of that up?
So that's the question
Yeah.
for the town as the building owners, right? So there's the responsibility of that 50%. And we could do some fundraising around that. Like we haven't budgeted, the little school hasn't budgeted for it. We don't own the building. We budget for things like the fence and the playground and stuff like that. But yeah, no, so I don't believe that there is not a window fund. There is budgeting for maintenance of the building, however, right? So it's like, I don't know exactly how that gets allocated. I know that we haven't used all of it year over year, but I don't know the exact amounts, and that's, for you all.
Yeah, and usually covers painting and stuff like that, which is, we're
Painting,
still trying to do. But
I did see that the fencing was in the budget, which we actually I think this, we had to cover the cost for the new fencing after the flood. So that's, budget that I think you all have that we covered that could be freed up. But just something to keep in mind is everything in the outside of the painting, which is sort of on a regular schedule, got resolved or cleaned up because of the flood. So we should be in pretty good shape if there was any money allocated towards that from the town.
Thank you.
just checking.
So, anybody else got any further questions, and we'll review this and take it up at next meeting. She's gonna file an insurance certificate, so let them know we're interested in, and we do this again on the February 11th.
Go from there. Okay.
Yeah, sounds good.
Thank you
Thank
all.
you.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Uh,
Yeah,
Let's do something inexpensive for a second.
well, we could do the stormwater master planning. Just vote yes on it, because I don't think it costs us
Hold
a
on,
nickel.
let's see where we're
Right.
at here. Stormwater number 5. We don't have anything, so.
Yeah,
Margot was here at the last meeting. I
Yeah.
just need to let her know
Oh.
whether the town is.
I'm gonna move that we say that we're interested.
I'll second.
further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Carried. See nothing under 6 for buyout.
So that's me. I just wanted to let everyone know that the two, Mr. Hart's house and Mrs. Fideli's house was appraised on Thursday.
Oh,
So
wow.
it is moving forward. And that is all I have.
Did they send us the?
No, I mean, I haven't got it yet. It was just Thursday at
But
4:30.
the appraisers visited,
Correct.
but they haven't issued the appraisals.
Correct. They have toured both estimates.
Do the property owners know that there was someone there? Okay.
Oh, great.
perfect.
Yep.
Yeah, I just want to keep everybody in the loop.
So it was appraised on the 23rd, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And I haven't received anything back yet from anybody. Just to give you a heads up. I
Nice.
have not heard anything about the Badman property. That has always lagged behind just because of where the
It started
application
late.
is.
Well, we did our part,
Correct.
so
We are-
we really just have to wait
Yep,
for them to
Yeah.
finish up with theirs, yeah. And they probably will always be 2 to 3 months behind.
And this was never advertised to be anything more than a glacially slow process. So,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fair?
That's all I wanted to.
yeah, well, that's nice.
That's
to
good
know.
to know.
Okay, town meeting day.
That was, we just didn't know, did you guys want, I know that they don't super want us eating in there, but We can have the little school do, say, coffee, water, baked, handheld baked goods. Do you want something like that?
I think we should ask Susanna. I mean, what is
Well,
the,
We
we're in
just
somebody else's
did
building.
that meeting in Walker last night, and pizza in there is fine. The key thing for the theater company is that they don't have to do the cleanup and take out the garbage and all that stuff. And I'd be glad to bring a couple of garbage pails and some liners, and Susanna's happy with.
I think we should keep the food out of the auditorium, though. I don't
absolutely.
want coffee down
It
my
ought to be
back
in the-
or,
They don't want food in the auditorium
okay.
either.
How are you gonna get coffee down your back when you sit on the
I'm
top
not.
there?
I'm gonna sit in the
Yeah.
audience. I'm gonna be a fly on the wall in the audience and just.
No, you're not.
Kim.
We're gonna put you front and center. Target.
Yeah, Wayne, when
Just wanna
Wayne
be
gets all
really-
jiggy with his
Really
coffee,
close to
you're
the
gonna
door, Kim, is where, right?
I know last year you had mentioned in one of your follow-up notes, we should have water, we should have something.
Yeah,
We didn't do anything last year because they really didn't want anything in the auditorium, and
We were unsure of space and
and so the dilemma is this year we also have to have an election again because it's the Australian ballot for the school vote. So your space is fairly limited. If they're not allowed to bring anything into the auditorium, then, it's really very awkward. I mean, you have a small little area where people walk in and the voting's over there.
Right, you need a big chunk of that
Right.
sort of entryway kind
I
of
didn't
thing.
think the auditorium was any big deal because I didn't think it was carpeted or
It's
anything,
not.
but the chairs could get,
yeah,
So-
and I know that they were in last night, they were not all that comfortable with people could bring water in, that wasn't a problem. And I don't know.
Let's ask.
I can
let's-
talk to
Yeah,
Susanna.
let's see what Susanna says. What I mean, that's an opportunity for the little school to make a little money when they do their
Well, yeah,
their
it's-
little
it's
baked
lovely.
goods,
I think
but
it makes it
um,
great.
we knowing that there will be a small space for them too.
Shauna, would you reach out to either Susanna or James Roeder? Yeah,
And just see,
okay.
and then we need to coordinate with the little school, like to keep it's not like the normal stuff at the theater company. We won't be able to do that, but if they wanted to do some baked goods or something, I can see where people would, certainly with a couple of cute kids sitting outside manning the
Oh God,
tables.
I'll buy cookies from them all day and all night and just bring them home.
That's what I'm
Kidding
thinking.
me? Yeah,
If they
hell
don't,
yeah.
yeah.
You know where they're
have
gonna
some
go
Girl
to.
Scouts, I'll send you away.
Right,
Yeah.
right straight,
Ah,
where?
Dog treats.
No way. The dogs do not get my cookie.
okay.
No,
Now we
sir.
know where the line is anyway.
Yeah,
But yeah, I think that if they want the opportunity to do something like that, I think that the little school, that would be
I think
great
it'd be
little thing
great. We
for
just
them
need
to do.
Coordinate
Sure.
with the
water
the
for
theater
drinks
company
and
yeah.
whatever.
I'll do
And
that.
I think that they could clean up a little bit there.
Yeah.
We should take advantage of that.
Oh,
Town meeting
and
day, yeah.
we need to make sure that there is a flag.
I have them on that list.
Ooh,
Yes, I
Last year was a bit of a debacle.
yeah, just,
I'm glad it was the only thing that went wrong.
it was the thing that was complained loudest, most loudly about, anyway,
so when I
we'll
first
get it.
got here, I mentioned to Jim that in the town meeting minutes from the last meeting that we had a couple of things that the voters asked us to look into or explain, and one of them happened to be the North Star with the Mountain Valley. Last year at town meeting, it was brought up. So Shauna said that she had created an invite for someone to be at town meeting, but if they don't come to town meeting, we should, I just need to look up what the question was or what the questions were so that we have something to say. We've had
Reply.
some sort of reply, whether
Yeah,
it's,
that's a really.
I just don't
good
want to say
idea.
I don't know. I
If
just,
if we can get the question out of the minutes or recording or whatever, then we can ask it for them. And
They could be at risk of losing the funding request if they don't show up.
well, that's right.
I think that somebody should show up.
Fair.
I gotta say, I agree, but
Yeah, and I think the
Should-
question was clear. You took great notes.
I'll have to go look at it.
And it said something like, why are they asking us for money when they have 3 million in reserve? That was the,
So that
question.
was, I think that, the council, the health council had money in reserves and it was used predominantly for the building, but it was a legitimate question. If they're asking us for money, why would they have this $3 million in reserve? So,
so that was one of them. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that we had an answer come town meeting day, which is only 2 select board meetings away. 2 more.
How many days? You got that counted?
Write down. So that was all I had about town meeting, so we're good there. Anybody else?
don't forget to show up. Sure.
So at the last meeting last night, I hid in the back right corner. It's nice. It's really nice up in there.
Okay, we've got the pay order for SO2.
so I'm gonna move approval of payroll check warrant report number 2 in the amount of $10,868.06.
I'll second. Oh, sorry, Howie.
Yeah, I figured I'd second. I'd do something while I was here.
Go ahead, Howie. We'll let you have it.
Yeah,
All in favor?
Aye.
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 And I will also move approval of accounts payable check warrant report number 2 in the amount of $55,753.43.
I just wanted to point out to you, some discussion with the listers and, taxes. I placed an order for another, computer desktop kind of system. So they could add one more upstairs. Linda would probably come, CDT person would come here and do the work, but because her internet is not that great there. And anyway, so that is in there and it is in order, but I think it's already arrived. So we had the computer guy here this week fix something for me and he will come back and install it.
Okay, and
And it was
in here is
$775.
That's
Yeah.
reasonable.
Yeah,
That's very reasonable.
that's hardware.
yeah, that's hardware, but it comes, and we have software here, so,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay,
Jim, just before we get ahead of ourselves, there's the payroll.
yeah.
Jim made a motion.
Did we get a second on the accounts payable?
Not yet.
Wait on
So-
Howie.
Howie.
Oh, I'll second that one too.
All right.
All those in favor?
I
Aye.
Denny said aye. Okay. Do I sign?
Mhm.
I do. It's weird.
don't think you have to, if it feels too, it gets done.
Thank you. Well, Howie will have to do it when he gets back.
Is that okay, Kim?
What?
If-
I didn't
if,
feel comfortable
Howie,
signing the pay order,
Oh,
and I
got it.
didn't vote, so,
That's fine. You got
okay.
3 out of.
yeah,
Howie-
Howie,
Howie
Howie,
can-
Howie,
Howard will-
okay.
yeah,
I know where he lives. I can.
okay,
Right.
beautiful.
He does.
I'll borrow his dog. I know.
I got a dog you can borrow if I
Oh,
don't, if
no.
I don't sign this.
No. Your dog's getting the mischief.
Eh,
Yep.
All right, old and new business.
Okay, under. Hold on, old business, where is this thing
Way
here?
over there, Jim. Further to the right. Older?
No, it was. What was it? It was red, had red on it. That
That
extension,
MTAP
that grant
extension.
extension for the MTAP,
Hold on, did you hand it? to me?
did I?
Just have it.
Yeah.
He's waving around over there.
I got nothing. Oh, that stinks.
Is it on the floor?
Yeah, I put something on the floor, but,
There it is.
No,
no,
this was Jim's papers. That was Howie's papers. Agendas.
let's see if I've mixed it up in here somewhere. Could I have given it to you?
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I just have.
Where can it be?
Was it on the back of that paper when you took your paper in for copies? By any chance? There's nothing there. I'm gonna double check me.
Possible I handed it to you? We're all checking each other's stuff here.
Oh, it's on the back of Jim's stuff right here.
Is it?
Yep.
Jesus.
There you go.
All right, guys.
That's all right.
So this is the Improving Weston's Flood Resilience MTAP grant, the Wyndham Regional to Weston. We're amending it to extend the date, the end date to April 15th, 2025, which, and so I'm gonna move.
Is that for use of the money, Jim? Just clarify.
Yes, I think so. So, and we only need
I'll second.
one signature, and I guess that can be me or you, Denny, your choice.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 We.
Okay. So we'll
Gary put his money
send
in
that
and
out
signed.
to,
So I just left
you've
it
got
with
that
you.
email.
You
I
put
think
50
the
in and
guy's
signed it. So
address.
it's
I can
just-
figure it
It's just you
Yeah.
whenever you're ready.
Anything else under old and new business?
Kim just needed the wages thing signed, which was
I saw it in there somewhere.
right there.
You read this?
Mhm.
Copy what I always wrote.
Did Howie get to see
All
it?
right. Yeah,
I don't.
these are right.
Yeah.
Do we
So
need
Howie,
this?
we're looking at, what are we looking at? So he's in the loop here.
The approved pay raises for 2025, they're listed
Yep.
out here. I'm assuming they're all right. I'm gonna move approval.
I'll second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oh, take this out of order.
Someone needs to get Howie a new pen for when he comes in. He's gonna have a whole lot of writing to do.
I have plenty of pens.
Get him a stamper and just come in, and that way.
Next thing you want to do is you'll have to get sealed too.
Ooh, and it's, oh yeah, with the wax.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, so that was an old business we signed.
Did I hear something about executive session?
Yes, I move that we go into executive session under one VSA section 313(1)(f) to discuss contracts.
Second.
Oh, second, sorry, second. Yes.
She's falling asleep.
Well, I thought you seconded it. Debbie.
I asked first.
It sounded like you.
As a
never
question.
mind.
As a question.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay,